right? So that's really the simplicity of training how to use this document. As you're in the business for longer lengths of time, you're going to have more information that you can use in order to present this. It's the same concept in the tasting talks, in the home presentations. Just use the page. Now, it answers the question, is it simple? If I'm reading off one piece of paper and I've been in the industry for 16 years, what am I saying to the guests in the presentation? You can do it, right? So that's one of the questions that need to be answered. Does that make sense? I don't even need the paper, right? I can do the presentation, right? But I need to have it in my hand and look down at it and read it. One of the other things that we were taught to do, and you can figure out the best way to do it for you because you want it to be genuine, right? Is actually make a mistake or mispronounce a word on purpose. Right? But have fun with it. Joke with it. Don't make it like it's scripted in. Just have fun with it because what you also want to show people is that they don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect to present this information. Right? You ask me how to spell Carnegie. I know. But let's have some fun with it, right? C-A-R something another. Right? Because that lets the person know, well, I don't, I would not, and I'm not talking about anyone in the room or talking down about people. If I say to someone I had an Ivy League education and they just barely got out of high school, they might think, well, I need an Ivy League education to do the business. Does that make sense? But if I'm up there, not saying I'm necessarily splitting verbs, but, I'm having fun and not saying I got to be perfect or so polished. Does that make sense? So we want to keep it simple. Does it make sense? Can I do it? So we want the person to feel like they can do it regardless. My 9-year-old, well, she's 10 now. God, woo, somebody getting old. My 10-year-old daughter can do this presentation. She can do it. She's like, oh, Daddy, oh, yeah, that's the why. Why do you know why people do the business, Daddy? Why do you keep talking about the why? I was like, well, that's part of the presentation. You're talking to different people. But the bottom line is that anyone can do this, but everyone doesn't feel that they can. So from a presentation standpoint, regardless of how they're getting it, you want to make sure that it makes sense to them. And we kind of block it out, right, step by step, so that it flows and it makes sense and it's the same flow. And the other part of it is the compensation plan piece. It's a big block of information because people are not going to remember what happened to the board. They're not going to remember all this detail, that the bronze is 5 and 8 and platinum is 10. People are not going to remember all the detail of the compensation plan. So you give them the broad strokes. Fast start bonus up to 50%. The group commissions up to 15%. And then the residual income example is just a very simple example to show them the power of the residual income that's available in the company. The middle of the page is now we're getting into this is what you're going to need to do in order to get your money back. The 21-day game plan. We talked about the time commitment. The time commitment, schedule, and goals. That's part of the power close process. And then we want people on the accelerator pack. Pick the one that you want. We're promoting platinum auto purchase. But if the person wants to get started at bronze, is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. Host 2 taste and talk parties. And this is what we want to be able to do is have the person get into their warm market right away. So the one is more informal. I'm just calling people over to the house or we're doing a conference call. And then the other one is kind of like an official launch, in the home where you can invite, people, semi-formally through the 3-way calls. Does that make sense? So you're not going to go down to FedEx Kinko's and get some invitations and, make it all fancy, right? Why are you not going to do that? You could. That would be really nice. A nice touch. But why are you not going to do that? It's too much. It's intimidating.
Painful.
Duplicated. It's painful, right? It's painful. Because the person is saying, I want a fixed budget. Now I got to go down to Kinko's and spend $100 on invitation for people that probably not going to show up, right? It makes it complicated. That's why you just stick with the system, 3-way call invites. Does that make sense? So it's a numbers game. You invite 40 people, how many are going to confirm? 20. 20 are going to confirm. Out of the 20 that confirm, how many are going to show up? 10, right? Half of them are going to show up, right? Out of the 10 that show up, your whole goal is just simply to get those initial 5 business partners, and anyone that says no, and anyone that says no is the other 35 that you invite. Does that make sense? So you have 5 that are now going to get started as business partners. You invited 40 people. Out of that 35 that said no, that's where you're going to get your 10 customers for life. Does that make sense? And once you've done that, with 2 opportunities, you can seal that in right away with these first 2 taste and talk presentations. Does that make sense? So now you have the foundation for your business, and your new partner has the ability to do that as well. So you've gotten your new business partners right away. You've gotten some customers right away. And once you've done those 2 things in the business, you have everything that you need to duplicate in order to go all the way to 5-star master distributor in the comp plan. Because it's just a matter of you continue to do that and you're teaching other people to do the same. Does that make sense? So the 21-day game plan is right there on the page. And the first place team, and this is like your first 25 business partners plus. This is the foundation for your organization and your business. And then we talk about 5 wide, platinum distributor for a platinum distributor, 4 deep. And that's really the diagram that's in the middle. And the reason that it's up to that number is that with all of those individuals on auto ship, it qualifies you as a master distributor if you came in at the $350 level or even the $20. Does that make sense? So basically, that's the foundation of that 21-day game plan. And then the immediate income example, right? It's never going to work exactly, but if it worked as the diagram is outlined, the projected revenue that you'll generate is $1,400, about $57. Now, how much did it cost you to get started?
$350.
$350 or even $1,050, right? Or $20. Did you make your money back?
Yes.
Right? Everything after that is great. So when you're sitting in front of someone, you need to be able to communicate to them in that engagement, in that interaction, that those things can happen. Does it make sense? Is it simple? Can they do it? And how soon do they get their money back? Now you have them for at least 30 to 45 days. You have their full attention. If these things do not happen within that time frame, you begin to lose them because they haven't seen any results, they haven't seen any revenue. And now what is the element that we talked about earlier as far as the foundational principles? What's happening now to one of those elements? And which one is it?
Belief.
Belief is doing what? So now they start questioning. Now they feel like they need to know more in order to get the results. Does that make sense? But then when they're speaking to people, what's being communicated without words? Doubt. Disbelief. And then they figure out, why can't I get anyone to get into business? Because that 30, 45-day window has passed. Now logic is kicking in. Does that make sense? And this is just like the other deal. I'm not having success. And that little drunken monkey in their head start talking to them and start talking them out of the opportunity or making them negative or taking them away from the things that they need to do in order to have success. And then the rest of the page is really about promoting training, giving the path, to the top position in the company. There's additional money. Do they need all the details on how those coded bonuses work? I'm just at 7 levels, man. Are you serious? I didn't know that.